and good morning, esteemed professors, distinguished guests, research scholars, students, and participants joining us from India and other parts of the world. My name is Shubhangi Amle, and I am from Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Maharashtra. On behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, I extend a warm welcome to all of you today lecture in our ongoing lecture series. Today's session focuses on the highly significant theme, social science research in India, mixed methods approach. As social realities become increasingly complex, the integration of qualitative and quantitative methodologies has emerged as a powerful approach for generating comprehensive and meaningful research insights. We are privileged to have an eminent scholar who will guide us through this important subject. Now, I would like to invite President of Indian Research Scholars Association, Dr. Vikash Kumar, for welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Subhangi madam. And first of all, I would like to welcome to Professor Revathi madam for kindly accepted our invitation. So, on behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association and on behalf of the all participants, I would like to welcome to respected Revathi madam. And I would like to welcome to Professor Pradeep Chauhan sir. Sir is from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and I have also completed my research from the same university. So we have some teachers and student relations. So, sir, thank you so much, sir, for accepting our request, sir. On the behalf of the all participants, I would like to welcome to Professor Pradeep, sir, and I would like to welcome Professor Mala Mukherjee, madam. Professor Mala Mukherjee is a director, Indian Institute of Dalit Studies, New Delhi. And next lecture, Professor Mala Mukherjee will deliver in the same platform. And I think participant will enjoy that session. So because we have two distinguished professor, so I will not take more time. On behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, on behalf of me, I would like to welcome all the participants, president of this session and the chief speaker of this session, including the moderator of this session, Subhangi Amlezi. So over to you, Dr. Amle.
Thank you, sir. Now, I welcome Sessions President for opening presidential remark, Professor Pardeep S. Chauhan. Sir is a professor at the Center for Economic Studies and Planning, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He is an eminent scholar known for his significant contributions to economic studies, development research, and higher education. We are deeply grateful for his presence and guidance in today's academic deliberations. Now I respectfully invite Professor Pradeep sir to deliver his opening remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I congratulate your Indian Research Scholar Association for such an initiative and giving a platform to our young scholars for, getting more information about the research tools and other related issues with the research from the eminent scholars from all over the country and abroad. So today the lecture is on mixed methods approach for research, and it is being delivered by Professor Revathi Ellanki, who is a director of Center for Economic and Social Study, Nizamiah Observatory Campus, Hyderabad. And she had a illustrious career, published so many books and research papers. So she will be giving insights about this mixed method. Uh, just on the opening remark, I would like to say that for betterment of any issue about or research about any issue, sometimes numbers they don't tell the story. And in social sciences, many things which cannot be captured through the number, through quantitative things. So we need qualitative aspects. We need qualitative methods, and there are so many ways to collect data to get information, and it is a challenge to the researchers also that how they can extract that information which really they require, because sometimes you need some approach how to get the other person speak really what you want to extract from the people who are you are researching. So that is very important. Then the methods, how to survey, right? So major focus is of our research is always like what, how, where, and who. So all these issues cannot be covered only by one any kind of tool or method. We need mixed method. The more information Professor Revathi will give, but because let us hear to her, then I think it will be better to speak about that. Okay, so thank you very much and all the best to all the Indian Literature Scholar, and my best wishes to all you. Professor Revathi. Yes.
Now,
Thank you.
privilege to introduce our distinguished speaker for today's lecture, Professor Revathi Ellanki. Ma'am is the director and professor at the Center for Economic and Social Studies, Nizamiah, our Observatory campus, Hyderabad. She is a highly respected academic and researcher whose contributions to social science research, development studies, public policy, and interdisciplinary methodologies have earned widespread recognition. Uh, Through her extensive research publications and academic leadership, Professor Ellanki has significantly contributed to advancing knowledge and evidence-based understanding of contemporary social and economic issues. Ma'am, the virtual platform is now yours. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just give me 6 seconds and sharing your screen.
Yeah. Thank you, Shubhangi.
Okay,
Am
and
I
Subhangi
audible?
madam, please share the PPT
Yes,
which I have
yes,
sent you. Yes, please. Now, please. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, madam. First slide.
yes. Is
No,
it
this is
visible?
Yeah, it is visible, madam. But
no, this is not the PowerPoint. No?
yes, madam. She's. I think she's. Uh,
Another night. 8 minutes. 1 second. Is it now visible?
No, it's not visible.
Is it visible now?
no, madam. Now,
Just a minute. I think it's visible now. Yeah.
yes, madam.
Yes, visible now.
Yeah. Can you make it full screen? Yeah. Yeah. So, without losing much time, good morning to you all. And I thank this
Good
opportunity
morning.
given to me. I thank especially Dr. Vikas Kumar, who was really pursuing with me for a long time. And
Yes.
I have been really delaying it because of one or the other reasons. Uh, but I'm happy that I'm able to meet you all and we have this lecture today. Thank you, Professor Pradeep Chauhan, who is the president of this lecture, and Professor Mala Mukherjee, director, Indian Institute of Dalit Studies, and also Shubhangi Amle, who is anchoring this, and all the participants today. Yeah, I am from a ICSSR research institution. So ICSR research institutions do mostly empirical work, empirical research, catering to the policy needs of the governments at the state level, also at the national level, and also interstate kind of issues, development issues. Basically, we work on development issues and like education and health, and then most of these issues. So my specialization, or I work in the area of agriculture with relation to gender relations in agriculture, and also other development issues like water sanitation, then regional inequalities, and then education. And recently, we have been also doing one a research project sponsored by the ICSR on social science research itself. So I thought that I can bring in some of these insights that we are doing for a long time, the research projects that we are doing, so that I can share these insights with you all. Yeah. Can you start the slide, please? Slide share.
Slide is not moving.
Not moving. So I'll use my slides then. Okay. So yeah, we are first looking at see, when we talk about social science research and its growth and knowledge and mixed methods, especially, I'll be focusing on not exact the methods will come little later, but I'll be focusing more on the methodology. Now, what is the difference between the method and methodology? Methodology has some philosophical connotation and has some philosophical foundations, which are important for us to understand. So simply by directly going into methods is not a I mean, which come later actually, because why are we adopting, or why are we taking up some a particular method to observe the social science research phenomenon? Is it just the method that is important, or the philosophical foundations behind the methods are important? So I feel that it's good for social science researchers like us to understand what are the philosophical foundations of the methods that we adopt. Various methods that are there, not only the quantitative and qualitative, but among the qualitative or also various methods are there, which we all in general use in a very complementary manner. So as social science researchers, we do not use one method, but a combination of methods. And the combination of methods can be appropriate to the problem that we are choosing to address. So that said, I'll be looking at the philosophy of yeah, am I audible? Something happened and I got disconnected.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah. So basically, the growth of knowledge. Yeah, the prerequisites for the growth of knowledge are that it comes from the reasoning and questioning and experimental mind, so that whatever problem that we are addressing, yeah, as a rational individual and with reasoning or questioning, we try to look into why, what are the reasons, what are the causes for it, how do we understand the phenomenon, how do we know a kind of social science, social phenomenon that's there. For this, historically, we know that the reasoning or questioning mind can flourish when the economic power and political power is widely diffused. So, if it is more concentrated in certain countries, certain parts of the world, then this kind of reasoning and questioning may not be there. If global north is concentrated and then global south is not, then I'm talking from a global perspective. This can happen within the country also. So therefore, it has to be political and economic power has to be widely diffused, so that human minds are basically they can reason, they can question, and they can experiment with. Not that the social science methods or methodology or philosophy has emerged from the Western after the Industrial Revolution, but we also do have Oriental philosophies dating back to 5th, 6th, 7th centuries, the Indian, Chinese, Arabic, where the Buddhist, Confucius, and these philosophies are also there, where these have been like oral teachings but later documented. But however, the Renaissance in Europe, this has contributed to scientific methods for knowledge production and growth. And therefore, we also should not mix up religion, theology, and philosophy, where philosophy is important for us, the underlying kind of underpinnings where we get to know what are the basic issues of the question that we are addressing. So therefore, there are the two viewpoints, the orthodox and heterodox, where heterodox is something which questions the mainstream, and the orthodox is something which has been established. So these viewpoints try to give alternative perspectives. If we look at social science knowledge, we know that Arthur Levy's has characterized is that it is as important as accumulation of capital for economic growth. So knowledge, social science knowledge is important for understanding the problems, and it is accumulation of knowledge for also for the economic growth. And it is nothing but the functioning of political institutions, social systems, and markets that contribute to economic growth. So the scientific method that we are all trying to understand, this has emerged as a method in the first half of the 20th century and has been contributed by many social scientists cutting across all the branches that have emerged later. Actually, social sciences, one can say that it has been today we talk of interdisciplinary and pluridisciplinary, but if you look at the historical context of the emergence of social science knowledge as such, it has emerged from the ethics and philosophy, and from there it has branched out into the different disciplines that we are looking at, like economics, and then political science and sociology, social anthropology, and then the applied sciences also have come out from all these, like commerce, business management, which are come from the core of the economics, and then some of the applied disciplines from sociology and political science also. So in that sense, the method that is there has emerged from the first half of the 20th century, and it's a contribution by many of this. And recent years, in recent times, social science research has become more data driven and has become objective as in natural science. So we also talk of objectivity in social science research, how to really objectively assess a problem at hand, and what are the empirical empirical data that is there, And based on the data, or data driven or empirical driven, we come to some kind of a findings or conclusion. So it has become objective, and some of the economists and social scientists also have compared it with natural science research. Of course, it is not the same. So the approaches in acquiring knowledge are that the theory building is there. See, we all try to understand a social phenomenon and also explain it, and also explain it in a sense of why it happens so, and whether it happens in the future or not, whether it has happened in the past also. So this kind of theory building is based on certain axioms and logical deductions that are there. So the axioms are like pillars to social knowledge. So what are these axioms and basic kind of foundational pillars that are there? So on which the theory building happens, and this knowledge that we acquire sometimes is a priori using logic. A priori in the sense, before we formulate any theory, these axioms are there always. For example, in the natural sciences, we have that sun rises in the east, and then so these are these are time invariant, and they are there. They are there anytime, anywhere, anytime. So such kind of a priori kind of axioms are there. These a priori axioms in social sciences also. If that question is put, then economists like Ludwig von Mises and Lionel Robbins have said that there are a priori principles in economics, and that makes economics ahead of all other social sciences. Like, for example, human action is an axiom which is a priori, where humans act anywhere, everywhere in the world. They have acted earlier, historically, they will act, and they will be acting. So based on such kind of a priori axioms of human action, the whole theories have been built in economics. And then if you look at any other axioms that are there in other social sciences, it may not be. This is the a priori school in economics that has developed this. And also the inductive inference, that is the approaches in acquiring knowledge. Francis Bacon and J.S. Mill were the major proponents of inductive logic of reasoning. Now, also all of us researchers are very familiar with inductive, deductive, hypothetico-deductive, abductive, and these are the major kind of approaches of approaching in social science research. That is basically inductive logic begins with senses and ends with reason. And so therefore, we all acquire knowledge in three ways. That is Francis Bacon has said that people acquire knowledge in three ways. That is by authority, reasoning, and experience. Of course, authority is not our cup of tea, because that's there with the state that's there. But as social science researchers, we all work with reasoning and experience. Experience is that what we experience day in and day out, and how we collect the data and evidence based. So experience is a source of knowledge. Now the hypothetico-deductive method is also there, where the reasoning and observation are used to generate and validate hypotheses and or theories. So generally in these approaches, we also have hypotheses. We formulate hypotheses about any phenomenon that we observe and try to test the hypothesis with the kind of our observation and reasoning. And so it is hypothetico-deductive is both formulating a hypothesis and also collecting the data or observation, and then coming to some conclusion, and then again testing it. So this is kind of a combination of inductive and deductive methods that's there. So begins with a postulation of a hypothesis, which is an informed guess or a theory which explains some phenomenon, and then validates it through prediction or experimentation. So part of this problem is related to complexity of nature of phenomenon. That is, because we also, when we are trying to understand a phenomenon, it has a particular cause and effect. So this is causal relationship is important to understand it, whether what causes what. So if for example inflation is there, so the rise in prices, and rise in prices is affecting the living standards, then is it only the rise in prices or inflation that is affecting the living standards, or any other factors are also there? So given these kind of things, whether what is cause and effect, but of course there is also that other things are kept constant while we look at the causation between two variables, exactly between two variables. And see, again, in recent times, I'm again taking some examples from economics only. I know that there are other scholars who are from other social sciences also, but I'll try to also elaborate it with other social sciences. But when we look at positivism, yeah, positivism is that which is mm, that is empiricism. That means it heavily it is dependent upon the empirical data, and what kind of evidence that it provides, and how we can explain some phenomenon, and also give a prediction for this. So in economics, we try to look at how Milton Friedman, where the ultimate goal of a positive science is development of a theory or hypothesis which yields meaningful predictions. So it is not that theories are true or false according to him, but one should consider whether they are more useful or less useful. So for him, it became a problem solving. So how do we solve a problem on hand? Is it the theory that is giving us, or is it that the tools that are there, and we develop a hypothesis, and then what is the model that gives good predictions? So use it till another competing model gives better predictions. So therefore, it is shifted from that of kind of theory to that of problem solving kind of thing. Now, when we look at what are the different paradigms in social sciences, and these paradigms, there is a lot of discussion that is there in paradigms. What is a paradigm? Paradigm is generally broadly which is agreeable to a group of social scientists on the basic structure of it or basic core principles of it, though there may be some differentiation between on the periphery or on the superstructure. So the philosophical foundations, ideological underpinnings, and extent of scientific methods, all these there is some understanding, and that can be a paradigm. And again, see, in paradigms, it's paradigms in social sciences, which tries to explain the social science phenomenon with the help of some foundations, philosophical foundations or ideological underpinnings that will provide explanation. Now, when that is unable to provide explanation to the current problems, then it may be challenged. There may be an alternative paradigm also. Then there may be shift in the paradigm. So that's what Thomas Kuhn says, that there is a paradigm shifts happen when new challenges come, and new challenges come to the existing knowledge also. So therefore, he says when some falsification happens, then there is a rejection of a paradigm versus a new paradigm comes, and some new explanations are given, and new logical problems of induction are also made. So this kind of paradigms are seen in each of our social science research domains. Maybe it's sociology, maybe it's political science, maybe economics, or any of these. We see that there are some paradigms or schools of thought that try to explain the problems or the phenomenon in our particular realm of the discipline. And also social science research paradigms in social science research are different from that of natural or physical sciences. Where in natural or physical sciences, one paradigm, there may be sequencing of paradigms, but in social sciences, there are plural approaches that exist in social sciences, even within a disciplinary boundary. For example, in economics, we have the classical theory, we have the Keynesian theory, neoclassical theory, Keynesian theory, and all this. So therefore, and so much of each of these discipline has been expanded now that there are different methods that are there, where there are controlled experiments are there, which have some application in social sciences. And in recent times, there is randomized control trials, and there is behavioral economics, and the new branch of experimental economics. These have emerged. And also, what is the unit of analysis in social sciences? For us, like in natural sciences, it's different, but for us in social sciences, it's the methodological individualism. That means we try to analyze the individual and try to expand that to the explanation of all. Or alternatively, we have the macro, social, and economic aggregates through which we try to explain. So that's the unit of analysis that are there. Now, if we come to the research traditions in social sciences, like how do we look at mixed methods? We have this, what is called as the naturalistic inquiry, the experimental, as we have discussed earlier, and the mixed methods. So where do mixed methods come? So before the mixed methods, we have these two distinct kind of inquiries. That is the inductive or naturalistic inquiry, which has the philosophical perspective here is it uses inductive reasoning, and it goes as into the depth of it, and then it is non-linear, and it is flexible, and flexible sequence of processes there. While the second, that is experimental, it is positivist, that is it follows the deductive method, and it has a predictive design, and it has a single philosophical foundation, and there is a prescribed sequence of linear process. So that means from the deductive reasoning, we go from a particular to that of a general, and where the experimental method, that is the deductive, logical, positivist, this is followed here. Now coming to our mixed methods are neither of these, but I mean using both this naturalistic inquiry and experimental inquiry, but it shares neither of the philosophical foundations of these naturalistic or experimental, but where for the mixed methods, it's a pragmatism, that is problem solving, and the purpose is primary here. So these are the mixed methods that are important, where of course it uses both naturalistic inquiry and experimental inquiry, but shares neither philosophical foundations, and where the purpose is primary to it. So what are these, before going to that of the other mixed methods that are there, that we will be following in our own research, complementing the research with the one method with the other, and coming out with a combination of these. I just wanted to also flag the recent kind of experimental methods that are used in not only in economics, but also in the social sciences, where we try to address the problem on hand. Now, the problem on hand in social sciences are, for example, in education. We all know that in education, there is a public education system, there is a private education system, and then the public education system delivers with very experienced teachers, and also there is its network also is very wide and broad, while the private education system is one has to pay out of pocket, and it may not be accessible to all. But what is the performance of these two education systems that is there, and how do we really assess the performance of this, and how do we test the effectiveness of the interventions that are made in the education system. Why I've taken this education system as an example is that we are all into it day in and day out, and we know that the not only higher education system but also the school education system is important, and we know that that's the foundation for entire human capital formation. And moreover, more and more we know that there is universal enrollment in the up to secondary, and then the higher education is also now being expanded wide, and the national education policy also says that there will be 50% enrollment in the higher education system. So therefore, given the importance of all this, we look at how these experimental methods can be used in education to test the effectiveness of one or more interventions that are there. So this kind of experiment experiment is designed to isolate and influence a certain intervention or variable which has an outcome or event. And then in social sciences, it aims to test the effectiveness of this intervention. So therefore, the very prominent kind of method that has come out in recent times, which has also got Nobel Prize, is the randomized control trials that are there, where it is accomplished by randomly allocated. How it happens is that it randomly allocating subjects to two or more groups and then treating them differently, comparing them with respect to a measured kind of response that is there. So therefore, we treat that one group is the experimental group which receives the intervention being assessed, and the other group is usually called as the control group, which receives an alternative treatment or where there is no intervention. So basically, what is the objective of this experiment is to assess the intervention. The intervention may be of different nature. The intervention may be of, say, for example, the midday meal, or, for example, the school scholarships that are given, or vouchers that are given, so, or cash transfers that are made. So if all these are kind of interventions that are there to see that there is improvement in the enrollments and fall in the dropouts, and also the improvement in the quality of education. Because we know that the major problem in education today is the quality of education, though we have also problems with infrastructure and all those other kinds of problems. So here, I would also like to take some of the experiments or applications that have happened in education in India, and also in because some of the African students are also there, I thought some examples from their country also would be useful. So we all know that Pratham is one globally recognized, it follows a globally recognized pedagogical approach, where it has also become a flagship model that is teaching at the right level, where it's now implemented not only in India, but as I said, several countries like Africa, South Asia, and Latin America. And the methodology also has been rigorously evaluated, including it has been used by a Poverty Action Lab, and then it is mentioned, it is used by others also. So this has, in India, it has taken up some of these experiments, where it formed under the annual survey of education, survey of education research. It formed volunteer groups in 600 districts and tested students in randomly chosen villages which covered 7 lakh children. This is, I'm telling about one of the experiment that they have done, where what is the experiment that they have done is they found that close to 35% children in the age group of 7 to 14 could not read simple paragraph, and about 60% could not read a simple story. Even now we have these national achievement scores, and then all these indicators coming up with children not able to read at a grade level. The level at that grade, expected level at that, they are not able to perform, but they are underperforming. So, and similarly, there is some percentage of children could not do a second grade mathematics. I also want to bring here the study that we are doing, which is the Young Lives, where it's a longitudinal study. This is also one of the research methodologies that is very important, because longitudinal studies really enable us to observe the same panel data, and I mean same children, here in this case children, over a period of time, and look at what is their performance and what are the various factors that enable their good performance or not. So this is an kind of an interdisciplinary research that is there, because it's also important for us social science researchers to underline that interdisciplinary research is very important, because social science phenomenon cannot be understood from one disciplinary perspective. A problem within economics cannot simply be understood from economic variables alone, but it can be understood. Some sociological dimensions are there, and some other, policy dimensions are there, and only we can understand this from various perspectives. So I'll try to give other examples also after we complete this education example for the interdisciplinary kind of research in social sciences. So the Young Life study that our institute has taken up from 2002 follows two cohorts of children, that is 1 year and 7 year in 2002, and it has completed 7 rounds of inquiry or field survey, where it has been following the same children and looking at their education outcomes and then labor market, because now a child who was in 2002 1 year and 7 year is in 2000. The last round we have done was in 2023, where they were 19 and 27. So they have entered into the labor market. Now, the point I want to make here to the scholars here is that we looked at what kind of impact the initial deprivation has on educational outcomes of the children. For example, we measured in the 5th round that what is the percentage of children that could really read and write or a comprehension, and then some math kind of do this mathematics. But where we found that who are able to do, who are not able to do, and what are the factors? What is the causal factor for the performance or in terms of educational outcomes? So we found that there is a kind of multiple child deprivation index, where the child deprivation index was constructed taking into 8 to 10 variables that are child-centric variables, that are prenatal variables, and also some of these household variables. So taking all those variables and constructing a child deprivation, multidimensional child deprivation index, and looking at how this child multidimensional index impacts the outcome of the children in terms of their education learning or learning outcomes in terms of reading, writing, or mathematics, then we found that those children who have a low, higher deprivation index, those coming from deprived kind of social groups or, and intersectional deprivation also, like the social category and gender and these. So they have higher levels of multiple multidimensional deprivation index, they are not able to fare well. So the point that we are, as social science researchers, we have to find really what are the causal reasons for such kind of thing. Even sometimes we may not always come up with causal factors. Sometimes we may come up with some descriptive kind of factors that are there. So in economics, there are some methods where we try to control all other variables and see exactly the relationship between two variables only. But to some extent, it can explain why this is happening, while all other variables are also important. So these kind of experiments that are there in trying to understand what are the reasons for low performance of education in children and how they could be addressed, because that's the very important issue before us. It is that whether what kind of program that the governments are implementing, because we know in India that government of India, because education is in the concurrent list and it is in the central list as well as the states list, though states majorly take the responsibility for education, and there are some centrally sponsored schemes are also. So there, if we observe, different kind of state governments are implementing different programs at their state level, and looking at how to improve the quality of education and school attendance rates, and reduce dropout rates, and then increase learning outcomes, and all this. So such experiments would help us to really understand whether an intervention helps it, is really working well. If it is working well, not working well, then what is that alternative? So in this context also, this Pradham's kind of experimental, we all know that Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, they have who were the Nobel Prize winners, in association with Pradham, they have conducted this RCT in different cities in India, and then they also found that the intervention program generated, some of the intervention programs have generated large gains, which have really enabled children to children's basic, learning outcomes. And so similarly, they also had held other, such kind of experiments in Uttar Pradesh, and then in different other states that are there. And then also, it's also important that at the school level, the participation of the community is important. The participation of the parents' committee is important, and how they can really pitch in, or how they can come together to get involved and see what their children knew or what their children are learning. So different kinds of, as researchers, we can look at our problems from a close angle, because there is no, though in social science we try to understand a universal phenomenon, but that also varies according to the context. So in the local context, a problem may be different from my context to that of your context. In my context, it's important. It may be one reason that for example, if we take the same education system, school education itself, in my context, I see that the teacher absenteeism is a major problem. In your context, it may be some other factor, some other that is causing. That becomes a problem in the school education. So if we have a close kind of observation at these kind of problems that are on hand for us, then what is that we can observe, and how can we identify what is causing that, and what are the solutions that we can offer? So I think these kind of experiments are very important, like whether taking one set where that's being implemented, and another set, and looking at what are the factors that are causing. Of course, there is also that this is very time consuming, and also this also involves a lot of monetary support that has to come in. But we can always, as social science researchers, we can always come up with our own methods that are there to look at what are the what are really factors that are that determine the determining factors for a particular problem, and then what causes it, so that we can come out with solution and work closely with the local governments also. Because see, today social science research is important for policy making, and the close connect between social science research and policy is effective only with when our research translates into policy. And we cannot see that it happens at a national level or anything, but we can also see that it happens at a local level. See, where at our own level, what are the issues that are there, and how do we analyze them, how do we assess them, and how do we look at that these are the solutions, and how do we really reach out to the governments at the local level and say that these are the problems for these kind of problems that are there. So that's how we have to make our social science research relevant and connect with the policy, so that there are innumerable problems that are there in agriculture, in education, in health, and in because these are all the problems in our economy and society. So therefore, we can really come up with the methods that are the various methods that are there in social science research, and then with a combination of these methods, try to analyze the problems and really connect with the local policy making. Why I'm emphasizing the local is that the context is important. So therefore, it may be one size fits all is not possible always, and therefore we have to really be aware of the context, and then we have to similarly devise solutions that are suitable to the context. So there is also another example that I take from Western Kenya, because there's presence of African scholars also, that this is from agriculture, where sometimes we find that we know that farmers' incomes are very not steady, and they get incomes in certain times of the year after harvest, and they don't have incomes in certain times of year. And it's like very important that how they their consumption has to be normalized, while their incomes are really very not steady, but they are sometimes peaked, sometimes they don't get any incomes at all. So that's the reason why even in the Indian context also we know that farmers depend on credit, and then the informal credit is one source that they depend more, consumption smoothening. But again, in recent times, we know that formal credit is also there, but still it's inadequate, and dependence on informal credit is also there, and where that results in indebtedness when they are unable to pay back in time, and also the interest also burdens, and then it accumulates into the form of indebtedness. And if you look at indebtedness of farmers in Indian context, we know that it is high in some of the states, and the reasons are also very much known, that dependence on informal sources of credit, and then for what purpose they are using this credit, and how productive is the use of the credit, and all this. So in the case of Western Kenya, there is when farmers have money in hand, they are an NGO. This is done by an NGO, where they were given opportunity to purchase a voucher entitling them to fertilizer at sowing time. So the vouchers will be purchased when they have money, but they can be used to get the fertilizer at the sowing time, when maybe they may not have money at that time. That's the reason why if you look at the Prime Minister's in our state context, we call it Raitu Bandhu or Raitu Bharosa, or where farmer investment is given by the state, and this is also the PM. I mean, Government of India also has been implementing such a program at all India level. So that means giving some cash transfer to the farmers so that it enables them to use it for their purchase of the inputs. So this particular NGO has been giving vouchers, and then this is kind of a nudging them. So because we have in recent years in the behavioral economics, the nudge theory also has come, where policy nudges people, either maybe farmers or any other group of population, towards something that they want to. I mean, if more fertilizer has to be used by farmers, how to make them to use more fertilizers, give it when these vouchers are given. This particular NGO has sold fertilizer not only at the market price, but also delivered at home when against the vouchers sold. So therefore, that kind of program or that kind of intervention particularly increased the farmers who used fertilizers by more. I mean, by 50% or for some, it has been enhanced. So therefore, that means these policies try to nudge the farmers to use more fertilizers in this particular case. I'm not giving a judgment that using more fertilizer is better, because the debate is different in current times. But of course, where it was not used at all, and when it is used, it contributes to productivity of agriculture. So therefore, there were programs, and there are programs where it is given. I mean, farmers are given these incentives to use more fertilizer so that their productivity of land can be increased. So this example I'm giving it as a nudge the farmers towards using it more. Similarly, there are so many other things where, for example, in school children, nutrition and school children, also the nudge theory works, where if we want the school children to eat a nutritious food, and in school canteens, there are that arrangement of the nutritious food in the racks of the canteen, so that it nudges them to pick up the nutritious food instead of junk food that is there, and junk food should be put somewhere, I mean, not so visible. So these kind of things, if they are, I mean, they are there, then the children would be pushed towards taking more nutritious food instead of the junk food that is there. So this is a kind of method that pushes in a positive way the behavior of the groups of population. It may be any group of population towards a desired behavior, or towards desired behavior in the sense towards taking more nutritious food, or going for which is a desired outcome, which results in a desired outcome. So these are some of the experiments that are going on. Now, what are the other kind of mixed methods? I would like to stop at 7 or so in another 3-4 minutes, so that we can have some time for question and answers or discussion also. So what are the other mixed methods that are there? Because I know that I've allotted more time of my discussion to some philosophical foundations, so that we all understand that. And the mixed methods are known to us, like the descriptive method, analytical method, and then the qualitative method, and case study method, and historical method, survey method, ethnography, archiving, and then participatory rural appraisal method. And so all these are methods, and which generally social science researchers like us are following these. So these are important, and as I said, these are also interdisciplinary, because a scholar in economics may not always follow the quantitative method, and especially quantitative method may give the indication or direction, but it may not explain the why factors. So to know the why, we also require some kind of a insights from the field. That's the reason why when we do some field survey on any problem, then we also gather some kind of data from through focus group discussions or through interview method, and then key informant interviews. And these are some of the methods that we adopt in order to get that kind of qualitative data or insightful data to explain the problem that we are trying to understand. So no, one example that we can discuss all these mixed methods that are there with in case of different kind of in case of different, like poverty, like agriculture, employment, or even in some sociological kind of problems, and then political participation, and or financial, if inclusive financial inclusion. And then, so these are all the areas that are there in which not exactly one method, but more than one method can be used as a complementary methods to really arrive at whatever data that is required for that particular problem that we are studying. And it's also important for us to understand that the methods, choice of methods, so choice of methods depends upon the objective of the study that we are making. So it may involve more than one methods, as I said. So for example, if because I've been studying for a long time the suicide of farmers, because that has been a grave problem, not now, but some time back. And looking at that, what could be what are the various factors that are driving for farmers suicide? So we had to really look it from different perspectives, multidisciplinary perspective that is there, to understand what are the proximate factors, what are the policy factors, what are the sociological dimensions that are there, what are the political policy dimensions that are there, to understand the problem and really to come up with policy solutions that are there. And they're not located in one discipline, but they are located in number of perspectives that are there, all other disciplines that are there, where we bring in all these together and look from that what proximate solutions or policies that can be taken up and to address the problem. So that has really given us a lot of the experience that we gained from studying that problem made us to understand that it is not one discipline or one method that is taught. It is multidisciplinary, multi-method, mixed methods only then that can enable us to understand the problem, and that can also enable us to arrive at solutions to that kind of problems. Similarly, if we want to map the resources, and especially in the tribal areas that are there, because most of the sociological research or anthropological research rests with population who are living in isolated regions. So what are the kind of issues and challenges that they are facing? What are the resources that they have? And that resource mapping can be done with some kind of a participatory appraisal method, and then sitting with them, and then pictorial diagrams that are there about their location, about their geographical location, and looking at what are the resources that are available, and whether they have they use those resources, how they are using it, and whether they are depleting or whether they have control over resources. So this kind of participatory appraisal methods are there, where mapping of resource mapping is done in that case. So similarly, other kind of methods are also there, where ethnography method is followed for again detailing or detailing of the living conditions, and then the culture and culture of groups of population that are there, so that the food habits and all these are recorded and looked at, and to understand a group of population who are living in a particular geography. And the very common survey method is there, where generally we go out with a with some tools, prepared tools like questionnaire and all, and then we collect the data. But there are some, again, avoiding sampling errors and non-sampling errors, and how to collect the data, and these are all the problems that are there with this method. But however, to complement that, other methods also can be followed. Similarly, historical method is there to look at what has happened in past, and then the German historical school has also used this historical method. And so these are the different mixed methods that are there, and they're used in a complementary way for suitable to the context of the problem that we are studying, and then also come out with explaining the problem, and also some kind of a way forward or making the solutions. So I think I'll stop at this so that we have some time for question and answer session, so that we can have some. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request participants, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Yes, any participants have any question, then you can ask directly to the Revathi ma'am. Uh,
So there are two generally occasions when questions are not coming. Either it's fully understood or it's fully not
no,
understood.
no, madam. No, madam. Participants are asking. Yes, Kasik. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Very healthy good morning to one and all. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Ma'am, I would like to ask you a question. Will you please simplify that as I'm a beginner in research?
Yeah.
Will you please tell me what which lens I will choose? I can go for the research. What is the most important thing as a beginner before I start the research? What I have to keep in my mind, and how I can choose the right research path or section.
Okay. Shall we take other questions also, or shall I proceed with?
According to your convenience.
Yeah, right. So thank you, Kashish. I think Kashish is. So as a beginner researcher, I think it's very important in social science that what is the problem you want to study. I think there is some motivation that's there for all of us to study some problem, isn't it? We want to really know something or some problem at hand. So if you have something like you want to study why this is happening, or why that's happening in maybe in agriculture or education or whatever. So keep that motivation live. So that's your research problem. You may not be in the beginning itself, you may not be able to shape that into a proper research title or with objectives and all, but see, keep that area. And I would also suggest that as beginner, you also read literature on that, because now there is lot of literature, and then there is the problem that you are thinking, it falls under a broad theme, so that you keep reading on that, and also keep observing things in that particular area. Whatever comes up as a policy matter, or whatever comes up as a primary in the on the field, that you can observe, policies you can observe, you can make note of it, and then keep reading. If you read the literature that is there on that particular in that particular area that you want to study, then you will be understanding what is always already there. Because in research it has to be value addition. Is we are all knowledge workers. I mean, we are all creative knowledge workers. Actually, we are creating knowledge, and this knowledge creation is not just individual, it is collective actually. Because one has unlike natural sciences, in social sciences it is that it is a collective knowledge, and what is already there, and but we are adding to that knowledge. So carefully go through good literature in that particular area, so that you know what is already there and what is that missing there. And then if you can add, if you can identify that particular kind of thing, because it's vast, sometimes researchers also will be very overwhelmed, because we all know that so much of literature is there, and then so much of overwhelming happens. So try to avoid that, and then but read very good, relevant literature, so that what is there already there, and what is missing, what is the gap that is there, and where you can add really in that particular thing. Because again, researchers later also have to refer to our work. They refer to the work when it is relevant, when it is adds value to the to a particular domain, to a particular area in which we are working. So that's my suggestion. Keep reading, and keep the motivation, and passion is very much required in research. Passion along with hard work, these are all required, because it's time taking also, and we should keep up our motivation. Keep reading. Now I think we have other tools that are there. We are able to also get good literature online and from libraries. It's become easy also to access it. So, but it has to be original also. Though we are flooded with so much of literature, and then all these, it's also important for us to realize that we have to really make a original contribution to something. Yeah.
Yes, do me,
Thank you,
please.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, one and all. Thank you, Revathi ma'am, for such an informative session. Ma'am, I'm also the newly inducted in PhD scholar. Ma'am, I would like to know about this. I like to go for the comparative study. So, ma'am, would you please explain what would be the correct methodology to use in the comparative study?
So you're saying comparative study?
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, comparative study of
Policy making.
Comparative study of
Policy making.
policy making. Okay, yeah. Policy making, yes, there is a comparative analysis studies, that's one approach that's there. So policy making or policy studies, if you one looks at policy studies, then what's the policy studies in a particular area? And if a comparative analysis is done across the countries or across states, you have to choose what is your area. If across countries some policy studies, policy comparison is done, then you have to pin what is the governance structures in those countries. For example, you can make only comparison between democracies and then the policies that are made in democratic countries. So the political structures are important there, and the policy making comparative. And or if regimes are different, for example, in a different kind of regime, in a capitalist regime or democratically elected regime, and then where there is no, there is a kind of other kinds of regimes are there. Policy making would be different. Policy making in China is different from that of policy making in India. So what are the, because they are structurally different countries, politically structurally different countries, then you should also take those into cognizance while you are making a comparative analysis of these. So some of these that are that are at the policy making level, but what are the enabling conditions, what are the structural variations that are there, all those should be kept in mind while you are making a comparative analysis of these kind of things. Or for example, if you can take also within India states, because within India, if you take, the structure is the same, you need not well, but again there are different policies taken up by the different state governments. Maybe you can choose one area, and then what are the policies that are taken up in maybe agriculture by one state, agriculturally predominant states, the policies that are done in one state, and compare it with the policies that are done at another state, why variations are there, and why, what policies enable, what policies are performing good. So that kind of analysis can be done choosing a particular area. And then structurally it may not be a problem here, because India, these are the states from India. So you should keep in mind the structural issues as well as the institutional issues and policy issues, and then can go forward with a comparative kind of analysis. I think you are coming from political science, policy studies.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from political science department.
Yeah, that's very good area. You can find the differences across states in policies in a particular chosen area, health policies or education or agriculture or industry or trade. So any of this area you can choose, and then the policies can be looked at. What are the variations? Why these variations are there? What factors are causing these variations? What structural factors, institutional factors, administrative factors? What are these? That's interesting area.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Any other?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, good afternoon.
हाँ जी मैम मैम एक्चुअली आई एम फ्रॉम इकोनॉमिक्स discipline and actually I want to do a comparative study of on the topic self-help groups.
Okay.
And so can you suggest me like what can I take a problem like under self-help groups?
Yeah. Yes, Andhra Pradesh was a pioneering state in self-help groups long back, early mid-90s itself. So there was a lot of advancement in self-help groups, formation of the groups, and then it started with thrift and savings, and then extended it to other realms also. There is good literature, Saranjit, in this
Yes,
area.
ma'am.
Yes, because now I think it spread to other states. For example, Rajasthan is doing good. Rajasthan's Rajivika mission is a self-help group is it's doing good. So other states are also. So you can take established states, for example, where Andhra Pradesh, it has come first, and then there is a lot of
Okay.
literature on Andhra Pradesh. How it started with thrift and saving, but entered into their other than economic issues also, like
Okay.
empowerment, women's empowerment. Because the entry into all this has started with the idea that household poverty can be tackled through women, and women are when they are collectivized, then they can bring in that discipline of coming together, saving, and that saving can be used for some their own farm or other productive purposes, and also entrepreneurship. because some of them can come together and set up something and all this. So it has also spread into empowerment, not only empowerment, that is decision making, whether women involved in self-help groups are able to take decision making in household level, decision making in outside, whether they are. So it has really spread into a large literature is there. If
Right.
you, yeah,
Ma'am, actually, I belong to New Chandigarh.
okay.
So, like, मुझे ये जो आंध्र प्रदेश and like where this self help
Uh,
groups are
Saran,
really nice.
Saranjit,
Yes, sir.
Saranjit, you can ask your doubt in Hindi or Punjabi.
Okay, sir.
We have Dr. Subhangi Amle and she will translate. No problem. You can ask your own language.
ओके सर ओके सो मैम जैसे जो मेरा जो एरिया है वो पंजाब से रिलेटेड है और
Mhm.
मुझे आंध्र प्रदेश थोड़ा मतलब मेरे लिए फील्ड वर्क करना मुश्किल हो जाएगा
Yeah.
सो कैन यू सजेस्ट मी कि भी जैसे अगर मैं नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया से रिलेटेड कुछ
हाँ, राजस्थान है ना, राजस्थान में अभी अभी
हाँ जी मैम
राजीविका इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहे सेल्फ हेल्प
ओके मैम
ग्रुप. First, what I suggest is that read about the program,
ओके मैम
because different states are in different stages.
राइट
So a beginning state may be just focusing on saving and thrift only.
Yeah.
A state which has already started has entered into other than economic spheres, like Kutumbashri is there in Kerala, then
यस
Self
हाँ
is
जी
there in Andhra Pradesh. So it has entered into other areas also. But whereas in Rajasthan, I found that we were asked to do some evaluation on livelihood programs of the self-help groups there. So the livelihood, how it is helping them in their own livelihoods, whether they are able to
राइट
earn more due to be as a member in the self-help group. How is it helping them? And then what are the factors? Because women can get strength in when they get collectivized. If they are
यस
individual, that kind of strength is not there, and they are capable of it. So though poor, there is lot of potential, capability is there. So that capability and potential is tapped through the self-help groups. So one has to understand the philosophy of the self-help group, then see how is it working on the ground level, how it has made a change in some kind of livelihood or their income or their children's education, or how it has been helping. You can choose one area and then look at. But first, read more about the
ओके मैम
program. Okay.
ओके मैम थैंक यू सो मच मैम
Actually, madam, IGRO Foundation, Professor Charan Singh has
Yeah, I
done a
know.
lot of work,
Yes.
and Professor Birmani. And just now
Yes.
I had participated in that program, and they had provided me two reports related to the MSME. I
Yes.
think IGRO Foundation have prepared with the help of the Niti Aayog.
Niti.
So, Professor Sar, I think Saranjit, if you need this report, so you can send email to the IRSA, and IRSA technical team will provide you both reports. One Professor Charan Singh has sent me, and one Professor M.B. Dhanya, labor sector. I think it's uh, regional
ओके सर
institute in Noida. So,
सर कैन यू प्रोवाइड मी द ईमेल
in our website, email is mentioned, so you can take from there.
ओके सर
Yes, yes.
थैंक यू सो मच सर
Any other participants?
One of our participants, that is Kavila, wants to ask. She's a beginner, and she wants to ask, ma'am, please give me some suggestions to develop tools for getting appropriate data. What are the things we have to do?
I didn't get it. Can you repeat it?
Uh, Kavila Kajila wants to ask, ma'am, please give me some suggestions to develop tool for getting appropriate data. What are the things we have to do?
Okay. Two suggestions to develop a tool to
Yeah.
collect
Getting up,
data. To collect data. Okay, fine. So maybe
Ma'am, I am working in qualitative research, so please suggest that way.
Qualitative researcher.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, tools for quantitative methods of data collection and qualitative methods of data collection. These are different tools may be devised. While devising a tool, one has to keep in mind the objective of this problem that we are studying. So the tools may be in quantitative. For survey method, the tool may be generally the most used tool is the schedule, household schedule, and one has to be careful when a household schedule is taken. The data unit of analysis, unit of collecting the data, whether it is the household or whether it is a member of the household or both. Sometimes, when we collect the data from a household, then we want to know who are the members of the household, their demographic particulars, and then if the problem that we are studying is agriculture, or say for example their indebtedness, then you ask the farmer what is its land holding, and then irrigated land, unirrigated land, and then what are the different agriculture assets that he has, and then what are the credit history, and then what are the current debts, and what are the sources, and then purpose that is used, and rate of interest, and so all these questions have to be framed very well in a questionnaire, so that you collect this data from, say, some sample of farmers, and that is one set of data that you will be having at the end after you clean and everything. That will give you the understanding of what is the extent of indebtedness and how many farmers and all that. But more insights also can come when you have some focus group discussions with the farmers, like what is happening, the processes that are happening. So schedule will give you the data where you can understand the problem, and some quantitative indicators. That's very important. Quantitative indicators also. What is the extent of indebtedness and how much it is, why, and what are the factors. Later, if you want to run the determining factors, some regression kind of analysis and all, you need all this data. But along with this, I would suggest that it's also important to have a qualitative data of the processes that are underlying why farmers are going to some particular source. It is not just that there are informal sources also play an important role. The trust that farmers have with some kind of informal source, they again and again go there, or there may be some interlinkage of markets may be there. He may be selling it to that person, he may be borrowing money from that person, from that source, and then whenever he wants, and then he may sell his produce. So there is kind of input-output market linkages may be there, who are combining these. And then what is that, because farmers go with a trust to certain kind of people who give them credit, and who also to whom they can also sell the produce. But recent times, such kind of interlinkage has it is not existing anymore, or it has come down, to say so. And more, it's important for us to look at formal, informal. Formal institutions, when they come, their dependence on informal institutions will come down. Informal institutions will make the cost high. Formal institutions are always better, because there will be lesser burden with that, and lesser exploitation also. So once the formal institutions come, and how these are there. But again, even if formal institutions are there, it may be not adequate, it may not be timely, so their dependence on informal also will be high. So one has to understand that. To understand that, you need more than one tool. So you may devise 2 or 3 tools here to capture the different dimensions, put together the data, and try to analyze the thing. And qualitative data tools are, yes, we have something like open-ended questions. so that in qualitative, generally the sample size is less, and you go more in depth into it. You ask the same questions to all, but what are the reasons, and then you go into the depth of it and try to get more insights into it, the processes that are there, and all that. So qualitative data is you have to spend more time with lesser sample, but also take data from others. For example, if you are taking data from some women about their health behavior, then you may also have to take data from the community health worker, from the nearest primary health center, and then the women themselves, and their spouses also. So like that, though the main cohort is women here in this case, you will also have to take data from related persons also to understand it in a more comprehensive way.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite once again Professor Pardeep Chauhan sir for the presentation remarks.
I think Subhangi madam, there are no any questions now. So
Yeah, that's right.
okay, so I think we should end the session. So
Now,
Excuse me.
yes, Kasis, yes.
Sorry, I have a question. Ma'am, actually, I'm a history student, and I want to work on the prehistory of India, where we have the literature, but it's not deciphered yet because of lack of primary sources. Like what methodology I should pursue and I should go with. Like I have so many, like don't have that literature, and I am willing to work on it. So what method should I use in it? Like because I had like read many research papers. They use different researches, but some of them are out of my uh, like our. I hope you understand.
Yes, I can understand. Working on history, prehistory, that's also prehistory is really, I mean, I should appreciate you. It's also very important. So make clear which period you're working and
Yes.
the where. So if you can come out clearly with that, then
Yes,
what is actually there in that?
like I'm talking about the Indus Valley script.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So first read. There is some literature.
Yes, yes, there is some literature.
Yes.
It's a little complicated for me too.
Okay, Kasis, you are from which university?
Sir, I'm from Central University of Himachal Pradesh.
Okay.
And I'm currently pursuing masters from there.
Okay. So you have a very ambitious kind of thing. Very good. Yeah. When there are prehistory, some archaeological inscriptions are there, but first catch hold of what is already there. Then you can see. One thing is that when you review it, then you understand what it is. There are two ways of doing. One is the review of literature. One is a meta-analysis that is there. So in a meta-analysis, you bring out what are all the studies that are there, what methodologies they have adopted, what kind of findings they have come up with, what data they have used, all that can come into it. Whereas literature review only brings in what findings that are there from the studies that are already there. So if you can identify the period that you want to study, the area, location that you want to study, prehistory is, of course, it's entire Indus Valley is, of course, that's as large as all. But then what is first collect the bibliography, annotated bibliography, you take details, and then what methodologies they have used and what are the sources. Archaeology is there, archaeological institutions are there, and archives are there, archaeology departments are there. So these are all the places that you have to visit and sit with those inscriptions, and then all those, and then some are digitized, I think. There are good libraries also, so you can first visit them and then see, and then study that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful session.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And I think now we should end the session. So we have Professor Mama Mosi. He's a visiting faculty Oxford University, and he's a editor of African Journal of Science, Technology, Innovation and Development, Taylor and Francis. Is belong basically from the South Africa. So Professor Mama Mosi, if you want to say something about this lecture, so you can express your views within 2 or 3 minutes if you are able to. Professor Mamo, can you hear me? Okay, I think there are some network issue. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it open now?
yeah, but
yes.
Okay.
you are not visible.
Yeah.
I think you have not opened your video, Professor Mamo.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
now it's fine. Yes, yes, yes.
Now you can see me. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for all the work you do. It's very, very nice. You are consistent, which I really appreciate very much. That you always do different programs, and this area, the research methodology, is also now very important. Just one critical point that is now affected, that has affected the entire research methodology, is now AI.
Yes.
Now with AI, we are having fictitious songs, fictitious all kinds of research outputs and many things represented, when in actual fact that may not have been done. So I like us to discuss how we also on this all the research methodology, as we discuss qualitative, quantitative data, open data access, all this, how we must regulate and also address what may come from the AI challenges. I was just listening to in America, someone that did research. They said that was done like a PhD research, but in actual fact, that was all done by AI and with AI applications and so on. And so, since we have these challenges, is there any chance now we could address that issue? That's just one point, because I came late, so I didn't hear all the discussions. So I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. I'm at the moment in Ethiopia. We had
We always
our
consider
student
you. You are
graduated.
from India, sir, because you always provide us guidance, and you are a patron
Yes.
of this Indian Research Scholars Association, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Good we are. In the ancient time, India used to be called Eastern Ethiopia. So we're one people. We should be one, not two. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, on behalf of the India Research Scholar Association, I would like to thanks to Professor
Thank you.
Revathi, ma'am, Professor Mama Mosi, sir, Professor Mala Mukherjee, madam, Professor Tokozani. I think now he has been left. Uh, Dr. Abdullah has been joined from Malaysia, and many participants have joined different parts of the India, and different parts of the world. So on behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, I would like to welcome all the guests and participants. Thank you so much, Revati ma'am. Thank you, Mamu sir, and thank you,
Thank
Manu
you.
ma'am.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you,
Have a
Dr.
nice,
Vikash, and
nice
thank
weekend.
you. Yeah.
Enjoy the weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.